Okay, it's Mike Franklin, the property tax guy, and I'm going to review a police interaction in the town of New Haven, Oswego County. So I'm going to play some of it and explain what's going on as we go.
Hello.
Hey, this is Supervisor Barney. How you doing, sir? Hi.
Hi, good, how are you?
This is Dan Barney. He's the town supervisor for the town of New Haven. He also is, according to John O'Brien of the Syracuse newspapers, who wrote a book called Scrapped, indicated that Dan Barney's been arrested at least 21 times. And he's quite an operator, this guy. And so apparently the town of New Haven chose him as his supervisor. At the left is their constable, I guess security for the town. What we're at is the end result of a town meeting. At the right is a sheriff deputy, and you're viewing the scene from the body camera of a deputy named Gregory. And you're going to learn more about Deputy Gregory as you get to an opportunity to observe her behaviors.
We had a situation where we had a person disrupted our meeting. I issued a warning. Okay. And upon the second incident, asked her to leave. She refused to leave. No physical altercation or anything like that occurred. Our security officer here walked over, asked her to please leave. She refused several times. So we want her out. Now, you know, she's got some friends here that are refusing to leave too. Okay. We're done with our meeting. Okay. And it's time for people to go.
Okay, where's that?
This is her here. Not sure what name she's going by tonight. She likes Jane Public, Michelle Allen.
Okay. You leaving, ma'am?
Yeah, I was told I had to wait because the police were being
Nobody
called
told
on
you
me.
you had
Okay,
to wait.
cool. All right, so you have friends with you too? Who's your
Yeah.
friends, you guys? Okay, all right, well, let's just have you guys
He
exit.
told me I had to leave a public meeting, and then he said he called the cops, so I was waiting for the police to come so I would not be physically removed.
Shush, I got you. So,
Because I'm allowed to speak at a public meeting.
okay.
Absolutely. Are you with her, man?
Yes, thank you. Public resources.
So,
You want her
if we,
not
Can I
back?
get the,
yeah, if I want to have her arrested, can I do that?
no, you cannot.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's obstructing governmental administration. This has been going on for an extended period of time, like 2.5 years. So
Okay.
that's,
So, okay,
that's where
so
we're at.
All right.
I've talked to Don Hilton about this.
Do you have your ID on you?
I do, and I don't have to provide it. It's a Fourth
go.
Amendment right.
No, you are being investigated, so yes, you do
For
have to
what
identify
crime
yourself.
am I being committed?
Okay, so you just heard the Deputy Gregory says she has to identify herself because she's being investigated. So what happened was there was a town meeting, and this woman here, Michelle Allen, spoke out at the town hearing. She did speak out of turn, but I watched the video, and she spoke for about 10 seconds in a normal tone of voice, and she indicated that she was asking if their executive session, if there were going to be minutes for it. And that apparently is why she's being arrested here. Actually, what happened is that Dan Barney has been annoyed with her for a couple of years, as he mentioned, and he premeditated this arrest is what transpired. But right now he's trying to get her arrested for obstruction of governmental administration. So, and ultimately they arrested her for that, for disorderly conduct and criminal trespass. And as you'll see, the deputy is saying that she is required to provide her identification when she's being investigated. And well, that's just not true. But let me read the statute, obstruction of governmental administration. This statute makes it a crime to intentionally obstruct or impair the administration of law or other governmental functions. Well, I don't think she intentionally disrupted anything. She simply asked the question if the minutes were to be created for their executive session. That doesn't strike me as being obstruction, but this guy Barney, is premeditated this arrest, and this deputy Gregory, who apparently doesn't know the law as far as when she can and cannot demand identification. So she's obviously been trained improperly. And my guess is that the entire Oswego County Sheriff's Department has been trained improperly on this particular subject. But also, she says, you need to identify yourself to do, while they do an investigation. Well, she never did an investigation. She, as far as I know, it's certainly through this evening, she didn't see the video of the of what actually transpired. But they made up disorderly conduct because that is it's just such a vague statute that it's easy to convict people on that. So I think that's something the district attorney came up with. So if you think that Gregory is an idiot, the district attorney is worse. He had no idea what was going on with all this, and he's just walking in step with the sheriff, and that's not really what his job is. He's supposed to be exercising his own discretion on these things, and he just took the word of the sheriff, just like this deputy took the word of this convicted felon supervisor. It's just really kind of crazy. Let's hear what else they have to say.
Just
So
right here.
if we're talking
wanna take a
about
look.
Governmental obstruction,
OGA,
because I spoke out at a public meeting.
I'm not here to argue about the reasons why you're being charged with that, so we're gonna investigate it.
Okay.
And so for that,
Well,
we're
what
gonna need your
crime am I
identification.
being suspected
You don't
of?
have to commit a crime to be investigated, right?
In order to provide my ID,
You have to be investigated.
Yes, you have to,
That's right. You don't have to commit a crime to be investigated. They can detain you, and but they can't demand your ID unless you've been arrested. And I think that that's evidenced by the fact that they never charged her with refusing to identify. That was never one of their charges. And the reason they didn't charge it is because they know that they can't.
You have to be
Have a crime that
investigated.
you're
Nope, you have to be investigated. Doesn't have to be a
I'm
crime.
not providing my ID.
You have to.
I don't.
You will provide your ID,
Or what?
or you're gonna be placed in custody
For what?
for OGA.
Which
You'll have a
is,
second charge for that.
okay, I would suggest you not do this and you call a supervisor.
I would love to call my supervisor.
I would
Why
love
don't you go
that.
ahead and get Pretori on the phone?
I already have a couple attorneys on the phone as well.
That's fine.
And because I spoke out at a public meeting, you're trying to arrest me for,
Failing to provide your
can I see
identification.
no, what I'm being
This is
charged
town
for.
property.
No, you're not being charged with anything yet.
Well, you
We're
have to,
investigating.
if I don't provide my ID,
I
have
understand what
to-
you just said to me, that you said that you have to be given a charge to provide your identification. I'm telling you that's wrong.
Okay, I disagree.
All you need is, it's not about disagreement.
Okay.
That's the facts.
How many times is this deputy going to say that? Before you get the impression that she hasn't been trained properly. It's she never does an investigation. She never looks into anything. She's just and then she's convoluting the situation with this failure to ID. So she's escalating an arrest because she's failing to ID. Essentially, she's not respecting her authority. That's what that's all about. Forget about the obstruction of governmental administration. She's so hung up on that she won't identify herself that she doesn't even bother to look into whether or not obstruction of governmental administration would be a legitimate charge. And what Alan is asking here is that let me see the statute. Let's look at the statute so we can see if it fits. And it obviously doesn't. This statute makes it a crime to intentionally obstruct or impair the administrative of law or other governmental functions. And she certainly didn't intentionally obstruct it. She just simply asked, are there going to be minutes for their executive session? That's all she asked.
Know my rights.
Hold on one
You
second.
obviously don't.
Deputy Gregory would like to speak to you.
Okay.
No, she wants a supervisor, so.
Actually, we have a lady here that would love to speak to you. Hold on one second.
No, I'm requesting a supervisor be present.
Preacher, are you able to come down here?
What?
Thank you.
What am I being charged with?
You are not being charged with anything. You are being investigated. You're refusing to provide
For-
identification.
For
you can run
what
the-
am I being
I'm
investigated?
I'm sorry, did you not just say?
Can I see,
Governmental-
can I see what he's trying to charge me
Yeah,
for?
so what's going on is a long, drawn-out interruption that's gone on over about 2.5 years, okay?
For
Every
requesting public
meeting,
documents, which is FOIA and
Every-
open meeting law.
every meeting, every month. Well, there was a couple that she didn't, she was actually good a couple times. But if you speak out during a public meeting, you get a warning. And if you speak out again, we can ask you to to remove yourself. And that's what we did tonight. We're very polite. There's no physical, nothing. She, Herb didn't grab onto her, nothing like that.
He did. He did put his arm on me. He most certainly did.
I put my hand on it.
He did.
Basically, Barney was waiting for her to step out of line in any way, shape, or form. He had previously spoken to the sheriff himself, Hilton, on the phone, and they basically premeditated for this scenario to transpire. So he was just waiting for her to step out of line in any way, shape, or form, so he could have her arrested, and that's what he did. He's been arrested a lot of times, so he wants to get other people arrested.
Put his hand on me.
I didn't grab it.
So, at any
I know.
rate, I talked to Don about this a while back, one night when she pushed her way into my office
I have
and
it recorded.
yelled out,
I recorded it.
It's all recorded.
yelled out.
Look at the two bootlickers there shaking hands. Those are two of the town board members that are licking Barney's boots, and now they're schmoozing up to this deputy. It's hilarious.
She was a member of the press when Randy Pellis.
I am a member of the press.
Conversation with me.
Most
Talked to
certainly.
Don the next day, explained the whole thing, and he just said, document it, follow the.
I am a member of the press.
So, at any
Irrelevant.
rate,
It's not irrelevant. That's
Not to
open
me.
government and freedom of
It's not to me,
information
because
law.
right now you're committing a violation with me.
Can I see what he's trying to
No, I'm
charge
asking
me?
you
This
for
is-
your identification.
this is
I
our-
don't,
You're creating a violation with me, she says. For what? It's ridiculous.
Now,
to
Decorum.
provide it unless I'm being
investigated.
reasonably.
Say it with me.
No,
Investigated.
No, it's not just investigation.
Yes, it is. It's
No, ma'am, it's
investigation.
not.
Yes, it.
Porky and unprofessional behavior and unlawful. She's using her gun and her badge to intimidate someone into providing information that they're not required to provide by law.
is.
Okay.
100% it
We'll
is.
debate that in court then.
That's fine, but you're still
Okay.
gonna have to provide your documentation because you're gonna be arrested for it.
Okay.
So
For
that's,
what am I being,
I'm not gonna keep saying the same
can
thing
I
over and over
please
again.
see the statute that he's trying to quote to me? Can I please see the statute he's quoting to me? The document that he's handing me,
I don't
that
even
he's
know what
quoting
I'm,
to me, can I please see that?
that's gonna be separate from what I'm charging
Can
you
I
with.
please see what he
What
is,
did you see him going in there trying to get it?
okay, that's all I'm asking.
Okay, but I'm telling you, now you're gonna have two different charges for it.
You can charge me with whatever you think you should.
Okay?
Okay.
This is for her, you're making one too?
Yep, you guys can get a copy. Want a staple?
All set.
So these are local policies. These are local rules of decorum, which are not a statute. These are not a legal
Okay.
statute.
I
These
don't
are-
think he said that this was a statute. He's
You can't-
he's telling me the statute.
I'm telling
that-
you, this is not a legal statute.
I'm
This is a
telling
local
you,
policy.
he's not reading what he's telling me from those papers. These are just other documents he had.
So why bother giving him those documents? Why bother? While we're at it, let's take a look at New York State criminal trespass statute. Let's take a look at the New York State criminal trespass statute here. Because she was charged with criminal trespass. The law defines different degrees of criminal trespass depending on the severity of the offense and type of property involved. Here is a breakdown of the statute. I'm looking at Chat GPT here. First degree, it's a third degree. A person is guilty of third degree criminal trespass when they knowingly enter or remain unlawfully on a property that is fenced or otherwise enclosed or exclude intruders. Well, this wasn't fenced in. Let's do second degree. Person is guilty of second degree criminal trespass when they knowingly enter or remain unlawfully in a dwelling, a place where people live, such as a house or apartment. Well, it's not a dwelling, but it says they refuse to remain unlawfully. Well, the reason that she is staying here is because they called the police. So you don't run from the police, so she's waiting for the police. Now, maybe what they're saying is that the constable asked her to leave. Well, they can ask to leave, but you can't trespass someone from a public space unless they've committed a crime. And so, is that what they're suggesting that she did? Is that she committed a crime? So, in order to be criminally trespassed, she would have to have been guilty of obstruction of governmental administration, as to what pertained when she asked what was the if there was going to be minutes for the executive session. Let's see. First degree. Person is guilty of first degree criminal trespass when they knowingly enter or remain unlawfully in a dwelling and possesses or have readily available a firearm. Okay, well, that's not the case. And okay, trespass penal. Person is guilty of simple trespass when they knowingly enter or remain unlawfully on someone else's property, but without any aggravating factors like fencing or dwelling or weapons. Okay, so so there you go. That would be just, it wouldn't be criminal trespass; it'd be ordinary trespass. And she was given, she was asked to leave, but again, in order to be trespassed from a public space, you need to have committed a crime, is my understanding. This is a violation which is less severe than a misdemeanor. It can result in up to 15 days in jail or a fine. So anyway, she was still there because she's waiting for the police to show up.
In his hand, when he's explaining.
What is the legal statute for this? This is a local policy. This
You're
is
looking
Town of
for-
New Haven Rules of Decorum.
You're looking for the statute of obstructing governmental administration.
Whatever whatever he's accusing me of, I would like to see that statute.
It's pretty.
The authority falls within the town board. We have the authority to make local laws.
Yeah, I'm not-
We made one
I'm
earlier
This is
this
not a
year.
local law,
That's
this is
it.
policy.
She
I'm not
violated it.
questioning that.
We're asking you to do it.
I'm not questioning it, to
This
be
is
honest
a
with you.
policy.
So, listen, you
Not
said
a
you know
law.
your rights, so I mean,
This is a policy.
that has nothing to do with what I'm going to be arresting
I'm
you for.
asking for the statute of what,
I
you're
don't
saying it's
have the
obstruction of
statute.
justice,
You know
correct?
what? You got your phone? You got your phone?
Can I ask, can you,
I'm gonna have you look it up, because I don't have it on me.
what statute am I being arrested for?
Obstructing
Obstructing
Governmental administration.
Can I see that statute?
Yes, do you want to pull up your phone?
I would rather not. I think
Well,
that you
then there you go.
are supposed to provide that.
No, I don't have a law book in my back pocket.
Do you have a phone?
I do, but I don't use it for work use, okay? Because then it gets subpoenaed, and I don't want that,
Okay.
okay?
Ditto.
Yours would not be subpoenaed,
Okay.
but it's free information that everyone has on the internet,
Okay.
okay? So, otherwise, you
Super.
know, you'll have to wait until we process the arrest.
Okay.
Let's talk about the third charge, disorderly conduct. This statute criminalizes various behaviors that disturb public peace or order. There's a broad statute, and the actions that can constitute disorderly conduct range from fighting in public to creating unreasonable noise. Let's see, disorderly conduct. A person is guilty of disorderly conduct when, with intent to cause public inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm, or recklessly creating a risk thereof. I don't think she did any of that. Engage in. Let's see. No, that's it. That's the end of it. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so anyway, she was charged with obstructing governmental administration. She's charged with criminal trespass, and then disorderly conduct they threw in because it's a violation. So the criminal trespass cannot be proven unless she was proven to be guilty of obstruction of governmental administration. She didn't intentionally interrupt the meeting. She simply asked a question. As far as disorderly conduct, is guilty of disorderly conduct when with intent to cause public inconvenience, and she certainly did not do that.
Such a waste of money.
It's kind of a waste of time. All you have to do is
It is.
give us your ID.
I don't have to give you that, because I have not reasonably committed a crime. There is no reasonable suspicion that I have committed a crime.
We ask for people's identification, just simply if they need to be checked on, simply if we are just
And
encountering
I
them.
don't wish to waive my Fourth Amendment right for that.
Okay. Okay, listen,
I'll be right there.
I'm just letting you know, I don't know who these people are that you're wrapped up with, but this is not gonna go well for them. I know they understand, they think they know things. Unfortunately, that's not how the law works, okay? So I don't know.
I mean, this deputy just keeps doubling down on this identification thing, just going on and on. She says they think they know things. It's because they do know things and you don't know things is the problem. And you've been trained that you can get identification from anytime, anybody you want, anytime you want. That just simply is not the case. And you demanded identification under threat of arrest, and that's inappropriate behavior. And well, it's not only inappropriate; it's just plain unlawful. And so the sheriff needs to be trained by somebody other than former cops, somebody who actually knows the law, because the sheriff is going to get the taxpayers of Oswego County into lawsuits that they just simply cannot afford. So, bottom line is Deputy Gregory, unprofessional, porky, and unlawful behavior, and she needs to be retrained. And she needs to get her attitude adjusted because her tone of voice is just completely unprofessional, and it needs to stop. And the sheriff's behavior needs to stop. This interaction here is outside after the fact, after they arrested Michelle Allen, and this is one of the people they were going to arrest, but they decided not to. Claiming that she was trespassing. It's just ridiculous.
What kind of warped sense of reality that they're living in, but this obviously is not going to pan out.
Sense of reality is that he's a several-time felon, and we were very scared leaving her alone in there with him.
Okay,
So,
I understand safety things, but honestly,
but that,
What she's explaining is that Barney, the supervisor, is a convicted felon, and she didn't want to leave her friend behind alone with a fellow like that. That was her point. So there was another woman involved, and she was arrested for trespassing, and her case was dismissed, and Michelle Allen's case was dismissed. Now they're claiming, that it was dismissed on untimely, but my theory is that the district attorney got involved with it, didn't know what the heck was going on, just went along with what the sheriff said, and then he gets halfway through it and realizes that he's going to get his butt beat, and so he pretends like he accidentally, went past the limitations for speedy trial, because he nor the judge wanted to touch this with a 10-foot pole. They didn't want the sheriff to be put on the stand. They didn't want Barney to be put on a stand. They didn't want that idiot deputy to be put on a stand. And so they allowed it to be dismissed. And now the civil case will proceed. And what's going to happen is they're going to settle, because those people will not want to take the stand because they're completely in the wrong in this particular case. So not only did they falsely arrest her and maliciously prosecute her, but also when they took her to jail overnight, they brought her into the arraignment in leg irons. She's in leg irons because she asked if there was going to be minutes for the executive session. It's unbelievable. So she'll be suing the sheriff's department, the jailers for their behavior, and she'll be suing that deputy and the supervisor and the sheriff, and it's going to cost the taxpayers money. So far we've had the 5 deputies involved in something that is just pointless. She should have told them to just move along. And they're closing the town hall for the evening, so it's time to go. That's what she should have done. But instead, we involved the jailer, the district attorney, the public defender, 4 judges. First the arraignment judge, then 2 other judges recused themselves, the town justices, and went to another judge, and and now there's going to have to be attorneys for the county to defend against the civil lawsuit, when they could have just said, why don't you move along? Just her arrogance, her porky attitude, unprofessional, and it's just the sheriff just has no problem getting the taxpayers involved in ridiculous lawsuits, costing time and money for no reason, just because of ego. It's just ridiculous.
That's the only reason Connie and I went in there with her
All right.
and
Well,
stayed.
she did some things to me that qualifies
She did.
arrest, which is she didn't identify herself, and she has to
Right.
by law. I don't know what she thinks is going on with the laws, but she doesn't obviously understand them. And I don't know what she thinks makes you think about knowing the laws, but like I said, it's obviously a pretty big misunderstanding on her part. So I would just honestly be wary of hanging around with her or sticking to her.
Here's the deputy getting off on her ego, talking down. And so the deputies all need to be retrained. There needs to be accountability of the sheriff. And what I recommended to the county legislature is that when the sheriff loses cases like this, and the public defender or the assigned counsel is involved, the sheriff's department's budget should have to pay for the assigned counsel or the public defender, and that goes for the district attorney as well when he doesn't then have the proper discretion to do what's proper. The sheriff and the district attorney represent the public, and they don't think that they do, but they do, and the public wouldn't be in favor of the nonsense that went on in this particular case.
That's okay. If you don't want to associate with them, fine. I don't.
We come up here because it's a town board meeting. We
Yeah.
not be anywhere near him.
Okay. All right then.
He's a real scary fella. So.
All right.
Anyway, this is Mike
understand.
Franklin, property
I'm not
tax
really
guy.
worried about her.
Dan Barney, they need to get him out of
Thank you.
office. He belongs in jail, really. The guy just doesn't know right from wrong.